We're going to begin with the idea of a mystic rapport with your own soul, with your own heart. And once you've gained that identity, very swiftly we're going to move into that today. You'll realize from that place you can see the souls of everyone. Your grandma. I've dealt with clients for 55 years. I'll sit in my living room and just, and I'll visualize, I'll see all of their family, their friends, the relationships they had, the loves, everything. And the relationships with their conditions in their life. If you're very quiet, which we're going to be very quickly, you can see all this. And that's why it's easy to understand that you will take on responsibility for everything. Being spiritual, being a mystic, isn't getting lost in the woods. When you see those yogis up in the mountains I've talked about, that they lock themselves in for a lifetime, they're not crazy, they're not lost. They've taken on responsibility. They move through the ethers freely. They're very kind and very sweet and more powerful than you can dream because the world doesn't touch them. We talked about the Shaolin monks, Bodhidharma, who spent 8 years staring at a wall. When you relax your breathing, allow it to sink down deep into your diaphragm, your entire sensorial field will be at peace. You exteriorize your concentration to a place on the floor in front of you, and your mind will become quiet. If that's a word, exteriorize, just concentrate on something outside of yourself. That's why when you look at a work of art or someone you love, you leave your body, your heart and soul, and you adore the one you love, looking at a child. Sensorial field, all your emotions fall down to your abdomen, deep to your abdomen, and you'll feel your abdomen expanding and retracting with each inhalation and exhalation, right? And you become very quiet, all your emotions, you're at peace. The same with the mind. These are two organs of concentration. Once you handle this in a few moments, you'll be deeply quiet. At that point, you can feel your thinking mind roll out to your arm. You realize there's no location when you're spiritual. In the gym, all my buddies, I watch them all walk over, they're lifting, and I'll just add, maybe if you relax in your mind, inside your shoulders, joints, all your joints, your muscles, just let it all go, let it relax. Then you'll lift 20% better, and you'll be very happy about it. If you learn these little techniques, the little response, relaxation response, in anything or everything that you do, there's nothing you can't do. In everything, in the meditative life, in the spiritual life, the interior life, the first point of it, the pivot point, is the relaxation response. Relax your breathing, relax your thoughts, relax any intention you have. Relax before you do or think or feel anything, and you'll be in a deeper, more quiet place. It's called the soul. It's very mystic, quiet, it's very pure, and it's very you. And once you learn that you can do this, you can see through everything in the world, everything. And then you'll take on the responsibility for everything in the world, and you can't tell anyone about it, because you know, as God knows, that there's nothing you cannot do for people, with people, and bringing them to a higher place of understanding, of wisdom, of kindness. I've worked with people 55 years in my living room, wherever I'm at around the world. You don't hang up a shingle, you just It just happens. When you live the interior life, a spiritual life, no one around you knows it. With your early mystical experiences, you realize that the world is lost, everyone and everything in it. It's a disaster, and it need not be. You'll see the souls of all your family, friends, your loves, everyone in history, everyone in future history. They're always with you. So you very quietly take on a responsibility to heal, to redirect, to correct everything and everyone in the entire world. In the beginning, it's a very secretive process. And this is a problem you'll have early on, is when you have this, you feel so contrite, so humble within yourself, because you have the power of life and death, and you won't use it, because you're that kind, you're that true. Because when you feel these mystical presences, you'll feel the presence of something so wonderful, so good, so kind, so true. It's the presence of God. There is a God. But God is infinite kindness. There is no other word for it. And every mystic around the world that's ever lived has known this. And none of them are dead. No one can die. And that's part of the initial experience when you're touched by God, and you're filled by God with this wonder, this treasure, this understanding, this wisdom. So you quietly take on responsibility for the whole world. I have no doubt, I never did, from my earliest experiences with God, that I would heal the world. Zero doubt. Nothing can change that. But you get very, very wise, and I've never said that before, but it's for all of us. Because once you experience this, the fullness and greatness of God, and it's transcendent of any religious thought, even artistic or spiritual thought. It's transcendent of everything you can perceive or dream or imagine. Imagine looking in the eyes of your first child. It's that. You know why you're alive. You know what you're going to do. You know your responsibility. You know why you were born. So when you see God in this way, you look at everyone else as your child. I have always seen everyone I've known as a child, my child. And I don't mean that in a patronizing way. I mean, I'll die for them. I'll willingly hang on a cross for them. You see what I'm saying? I mean willingly. My teachers, Kathleen, or my professor Mink here, Peter Mink, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu teacher that teaches here, or Professor Greg Skolter that videos these classes. He just took in this room, he trained a Taekwondo team of children and just won, I think, 7 medals, 4 gold, 3 silver at the state championships, and taking them to Florida for the national championships. And they're all sweet. And he takes on responsibility for them. You'll cry watching them, the same as you'll watch my teacher with all of his children and adults. It touches your heart beyond anything you've ever seen, because they're martial arts masters with a pure spiritual intent from God in their heart, and that's why they do it. And I'm not talking about martial arts, I'm talking about something so transcendent. It's the thing that Bodhidharma 1600 years saw in everyone, in everything. He transcended himself. The meditative practice was to relax your breathing. Your entire sensorial field falls into your abdomen. You feel the abdomen expanding and releasing with the breath. And you'll feel very relaxed. Before you do anything, relax your shoulders with your mind, your joints in your body, your muscles, and this relaxation response will just come, and then from deep within you, from your soul, do whatever you want, and it will improve 20% the first day, no matter what it is, and then 100% in a week. So relax the sensorial field, exteriorize your concentration, as Bodhidharma taught the Shaolin monks, and there is no try. You'll instantly, like my mind is just off. You just practice looking at something 18 inches in the floor in front of you, as the monks do. And the mind steps out, and you realize they're just organs of perception. You teach these basic processes to any artist who loves beauty, and they'll instantly change everything they're doing and have much greater joy with it. When you look at your first child, you'll know this. You live for them. But this is a process that you learn and can teach anyone, with or without children. You'll learn to relax. You can let your thinking, there's only these two organs of concentration that determine everything we think we are as a person. And this will come to you very quickly during your early days and weeks or months of meditation. That you can quite step out of this, step away from your emotions, and you're in a free field. And there's a subtle beauty that's unimaginably subtle. It's wonderful. It transcends love. It transcends everything, always. It's called God. You can learn to let your thinking mind roll out your arm, and you'll feel it. In other words, if you sit quietly with your hands up like this, you'll feel receptive, right? It's that simple. Like this, then you'll be like Bodhidharma, the teacher. Do like this, you'll feel humbled. These are very simple practices. My friend Amrita Desai went to India with my buddy, and he would teach his students in the Pennsylvania Yoga Society, just feel like a ball of light. They call it prana in India, and you just put your hands like this, you're going to feel the presence of something alive. It's the presence of God. You do this for a few minutes, it will become more powerful, stronger. You won't ever want to stop. I remember the time I did it with him, I sat with one. I would never sit with the classes, he always wanted me to teach, but I said, I don't know anything about yoga, but he always wanted to teach. Whatever I do was, he wanted me to do it. And because I had the same sense of Godness that he had. And he was just like a little boy, and I'm still like a little boy, and he is, and Greg is. And my teacher, Peter Mink, the professor of martial arts here, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and my buddy Tim, and the owner of this business, Rob, we were all like little kids when we're together, like this. When you let go of responsibility and need or want, which you will let go of the first day of true meditation with your first mystical experience, you'll let go of everything. And you'll be everyone's daddy or everyone's mommy, whatever it is. And you'll never say it, you'll just turn yourself inside out. No matter what amount of pain or hard, you're going to fix things and fix things. When I'm around a business life or a friend's business or a restaurant or real estate, or it doesn't matter what it is, I've been around every business and helped people because when I'm there effective in bringing people together, and things happen. People will always ask me, what do you think about this? I'll say, well, sell it or don't, or stop when it hits 6 million or whatever. And they'll always trust that. And I'm just there for them, hoping that they're going to ask something deeper, more meaningful, more wonderful, about God. And when you get here, which is the real you, you'll know everything. It's beyond religion or circumstance. It's beyond love. You'll secretly have responsibility in your heart for everything in this world. You'll figure out everything. You'll see it so clearly. That's mysticism. That's how it relates to this world. But you yourself have escaped gravity whatsoever. There's nothing I don't understand about science, about anything, about love, there's nothing I don't understand. I'm speaking on behalf of all of us who are mystical, who love God, who live beyond ourselves. I know in my Peter Mink, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champ here, when he teaches his many students next door, you could cry. The kids will roll around and the parents are crying the first night, the moms, because he's teaching with his heart. When Greg teaches kids to fight, which they don't want to do, because like to me, naturally, 1 in 10 kids wants to fight and the other kind of defensive and a follower. But he can teach even people like me who are nonviolent to fight. Because it's just a build-up within yourself to not be afraid of anything. And this isn't about fighting. This is about the true nature of martial arts, which I always wanted to see in the schools, which is to not be afraid. And the more you do practices like that, like the guys in the gym, they lift and become big, they're getting over each time you're doing it little fears they have in everyday life, and that's what it's about. That's what an artist does. And more than that, it's what a mom and a dad do. They keep giving more and more of themselves, and they learn more about themselves. And then there's something in this world that keeps coming at the family, at the students, at friends, at love relationships. It's something very dark and devious. And that's what today is about. It's called Satan, the devil, evil, Mephistopheles. That's in that great book, I forget about the devil. And the point is, when you have this mystical experience, this bad energy will be coming at you, and you're going to love it after the first few moments of it, because you're going to see that there's something behind all the bad stuff. And because you've had a mystical experience of eternity, of God, of wonder, of joy, you know that you already win. So you're going to take on this battle gleefully. You're going to try harder. You're going to work harder. You're going to become smart, very, very smart, very intelligent, very aware. You'll read a lot, you'll study a lot, you'll appreciate a lot, and you'll help every kind of person around you out of the particular frame of reference that they're in that's holding them back. There's nothing you won't do for love, because you know that you can undo all the problems of the world. First step is to quiet yourself, believe in something higher, better, more wonderful, more decent. And when you get there and you feel the fullness of it, like I feel, I live with this in the mountains of India, Nepal, my Tibetan buddies, or my teachers here, we've all experienced these mystical moments of eternity. I live there forever, for whatever reason. And so I know that I have responsibility for everything and everyone. It doesn't matter what I have to go through day to day. Turn myself inside out to communicate this to everyone that's in a different place and time. And it's okay. When I sit with clients in my home, I'll always see their dad, their mom, if they're deceased or not, doesn't matter. They're all available to me. And I'll have the client discuss them with me, and I'll, from God very directly, communicate the fact that there's nothing wrong with them or the father or the mother. They'll have compassion for the people that have hurt them and for themselves.